Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division with various wind. Here I'm playing all the holes from the second tee, giving you my best advice on how to crush the specific course that we are playing. But before we have a closer look at all the content, if you enjoy the free content here on the channel, hit the thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel and click that bell button or the notification button. For those of you that are looking to take that little extra step, you shall look for our premium guides on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. You do have the link in the description down below, or you can scan the QR code. There we do have packages that ranges for all the different type of players in Golf Clash, all from tournaments to tour play to checkpoint challenge. You can find something regardless what game mode you want to improve on. You sign up, you try for yourself, and you see how we can help you become a better player in Golf Clash. Last but not least, in this playthrough, you can follow along by following the info box on the right-hand side. Club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind, those are just suggestions, so you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there's a plan behind it. Let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, this is gonna be, if not the best, but one of the best chances of getting a drop here off the Grünberg Slopes. So we're gonna start very close to the max line, a plus 12, and then we're gonna apply some spins. You see here now we're using the top spin. That's going to be a 4.5 bar of top spin and 2 bars of side spin to the right. Ball guideline to go center down the fairway, very important. Here, even if you do have 6 bars of topspin, they could actually be worse of using more topspin than 4.5. This, as there is a risk of going too far, then you're gonna be in between clubs on the second shot. So try to keep it to 4.5 bar topspin, that would be the best. I'm playing with a power 3 ball to prevent us from having to go with overpowering crosswind and, to a degree in headwind. Max plus 10 is the adjustment, and you can see that we're getting the ball down nicely on the fairway, and now it's time to focus on the second shot, which is going to be a very good chance. The thorn to play with here, and the reason I want to play with a thorn is that I do want to use the thorn's backspin. I do want to aim on the fringe and have the ball guideline to the hole, or fairway, or green, or fringe. And have the ball guideline to the hole. The reason I don't want to bounce on the fairway before the fringe and the green is due to the fact that that will cause glitches and inconsistencies in the way you are approaching the pin. Adjustment is going to be made. I pull over the bullseye to be as consistent as possible. We play minus 10% elevation, and then it's obviously true distance as normal. Perfect ball, bounces nicely on the green, and it rolls beautifully right at pin for an eagle here on hole number 1. Hole number 2. This is a fun hole in my opinion, especially in tailwinds, and we're gonna talk about what we can do in the stronger tailwinds. But here, when playing in the playthrough, we're playing with free-to-play balls, therefore we are settling with the Titan. So I'm using all the left spin that I can, which is 2 bars, and I'm also using 2 bars of top spin, max plus 10. And once we have done that, we shall push up to a max. Using half a ball of curl together with a little bit of overpower, it's approximately 2 grains of overpower being used here. The goal is not to get as far up on the fairway. We actually want to position ourselves in a way that we can play with the sniper. This, as playing with a long iron, is very much dependent on a good ball guideline. And sure, we could play with a grizzly, but the grizzly doesn't really have that much power, which means I'm gonna aim very far back most of the time. So in this situation, I would like to play with the sniper over the Goliath. And sure, those of you play with B52 level 7 might could rethink what I just said, as the B52 does have the same power as the Goliath. Add backspin, ball guideline, approximately 2 green squares short of hole in tailwind, ball guideline to the hole in crosswind, and in headwind 2 green squares through the hole, just to compensate for the extended and the compressed ball guidelines that come in tailwind and in headwind. 20% elevation is going to be all from minimum to medium to maximum distance, depending on how far you're getting your drive. And here we can see hitting a perfect ball, and it bounces on the fairway. When the camera turns around like this, I think we're gonna drop it, get in, but no, the game is giving us a little 360, which is not fun, but it happens from time to time. So hole number 2 is going to be a tough one to get an albatross on, but there is definitely a possibility. I've always disliked having left to right wind on this one here. The reason for that is due to the fact that adjusting here would be very difficult due to the fact that we do have the trees in our way. I'm using 3 bars of right spin and whatever backspin that makes the ball guideline go approximately 2 green squares through the hole. And as to not complicate with the trees, I'm going to push my rings. Medium distance plus 20, and I'm using a kingmaker. Why? The reason I want to use a kingmaker is to reduce the wind as much as possible, and I want to keep it free to play. Obviously, playing with a more wind resistant ball such as wind 4 or a wind 5 obviously will make it even easier. But keeping it free to play, center the ball with a kingmaker, hit perfect, and this is going to have a good chance going in the hole. As I've said on this hole many times, is that this rough bump is definitely the best chance for you to get an hole in one in a more consistent way. But if you are not really interested in going a bit more aggressive, which the rough bump is, then play on the fairway on the right, bounce the ball up towards the pin. However though, it won't be as good as the rough bump in terms of getting the hole in one, but it will always result into a safe birdie. So for hole number 4, it's very similar to hole number 1 in the way of that we do need to get ourselves an eagle, or we will most likely struggle having a top spot in the tournament. Obviously, a birdie is going to happen no matter what way you're playing here, because it's a short par 4 and with a good chance. 6 top spin and as much side spin to the right possible. Ball guideline to go just right off the left side rough. Adjustment is max plus 5, and you can see here in the end that I'm pushing up approximately 1 ring just to gain those extra couple of yards, because we do want this ball to trickle down the fairway and avoid the rough. Inside wall right curl, and you can see the ball bounces on the fairway and it rolls down, and sure, a great left would most likely be in the rough, but that's the risk. That's a risk we're gonna have to take, because if you do roll into the rough, you will still be able to reach from there. But having not to roll into the rough, you will position yourself for a short iron towards the pin, and in this scenario we do more or less having a straight tailwind. And I would say that even if you adjust the wrong amount here, this is still going to be a good chance due to the wind being in your favor. Sure, you need to be more spot on when it comes to a straight crosswind, but in this instance, ball guideline just short of hole, no elevation, and you play true club distance. So if you are around medium distance, you play medium distance. If you are by the medium distance or minimum distance club, then you play minimum distance number. It sounds easy, but it actually is that easy, especially on a shot like this. Perfect ball, and it's gonna bounce on the fairway before the green, and it rolls right at pin for a beautiful eagle on hole number 4. Take your game to the next level with our Alpine Peaks Ultimate Tournament Hex Guides Expert and Master Division. Tailwinds only is what we're going to have, and obviously we know that it might not be straight tailwinds, but at least beforehand it's going to be exciting to look forward to some of the holes where we can send it and get ourselves some par 4 hole-in-ones or par 5 hole-in-ones, which is also called a condor. Hole number 2 was the hole that I luckily got myself a condor way back in the day. So I'm super excited about that. So if you do want to join in the fun and ping some balls together with us at Team Tommy, then you sign up at patreon.com/golfclashtommy via the link that is in the description down below, or you scan the QR code. There you can find our packages for expert and master, obviously for tour play and for checkpoint challenge if you would so like as well. And you can try for yourself how it is. The important part to have in mind, though, is that you're not just investing in a guide. You're investing in yourself to become a better player, and also to become a better player whilst you spend less time actually playing. Because a guide helps you not having to spend time in practice mode to spend balls, tokens, and obviously then time to improve, because we have already done that work for you. So sign up and try for yourself, and see that you will become a better player. For hole number 5, I will give you 2 options. One with a very aggressive rough bump, and one where we're actually gonna play with the Guardian. I would prefer the rough bump over the Guardian due to it being a little bit better chance of dropping a hole-in-one. However, though, the sniper here is with the rough bump a little bit more aggressive. As you can see, there is not really much room for error. Minimum distance plus 10%. We have the ball guideline to go plenty through the hole due to the fact that we are having a slight headwind. If you're having a tailwind on this one here, let the ball guideline go to the hole, because with tailwind the ball will have a longer push, or like a longer ball guideline due to the extended ball guideline, so you need to really think about that. Playing with a Kingmaker to reduce the wind as much as possible, bouncing into the rough, and it rolls lovely into the hole for an hole-in-one. However, though, not however, always that word. What I'm looking for here, or the point that I'm trying to make here, is that this hole offers different ways of playing. There is a super safe way to play with the Guardian on green, which will offer an hole-in-one, but there is also this way here with a very aggressive rough bump, which will be very rewarding if done correctly. So for option number 2, play with the Guardian, and here we do want to play with a wind somewhere between 6.5 and 8 miles per hour. You can see I'm using all its backspin, a little bit of a right spin, aiming for the second bounce to be somewhat very close to the center of the dark green square row. The idea here is to get the ball at the top of the green, fall down towards the pin by using the slope together with the backspin. Medium distance with a 15% over adjustment, and then we're going to take our shot, and hopefully we're gonna hit perfect. This is definitely a very safe way of locking in the birdie, but also offers, as already explained, a chance for an hole-in-one. Perfect ball is on its way, and it's bouncing on the green. You can see it gets up the green and then falls down. It looks like it's gonna top, but due to the slope, it gets all the roll back to get an hole-in-one here with option number 2 with the Guardian. Hole number 6 is probably gonna be the most boring hole that we do have of the Grünberg Slopes. The reason for that is that even if we do have a tailwind, it's gonna be very difficult to get ourselves to a spot where the Albatross is going to be a decent chance. So here, play with a power 3 ball minimum. Either the Titan or the Kingmaker, as I'm playing here on the screen. Those of you having the possibility to play with a power 4 or a power 5 ball could simplify this drive much more by then reducing the overpower, because with a power 3 ball in headwind, we're gonna have to play with around 3 to 4 bars of not bars, but 3 to 4 rings of overpower. Maximum distance plus 10 is the adjustment, and the goal is to get the ball down here on the fairway. You rather want to be more on the right side than on the left side of this fairway, because the fairway from the right side is having a slope that slopes right to left, so it's a little bit better to be on that side, because that will be less riskier of rolling into the rough. Because if rolling into the rough, you're gonna have a very difficult time to get to the green into. Now, second shot, you can see that we're having the Cataclysm here, and here the side spin of the Kingmaker is definitely a valuable stat, but it's not gonna be the end of the world if you don't have it, because you still have the curl on your club. But here is the goal to judge the speed correct. Now we're not going for pin at all, so we do have we do have a lot of room there on the green. So we do want to get the ball to roll on the fairway down towards the green and end up to be a simple putt. If you do use too much curl, you will put the bunkers in play, and that's just totally unnecessary to do so. So this is a perfect way of executing this safe shot down towards green to lock in the eagle. Because hole number 6, once again, won't really be an albatross attempt if we are not having tailwind off tee. Alright, hole number 7. This is, in my opinion, going to be the best chance for an hole-in-one in a more consistent way, because this is a nice little double bounce over here towards the pin. Start before spin, ball guideline to the hole, and you will then adapt spins based on the wind angle. I'm using a little bit of click of topspin, no side spin. Adjustment is going to be medium distance plus 15. And I'm only using a navigator here for the reason of otherwise I will go in between clubs. So having to start back here, and you do have tailwind, you need to play with a power 1 ball at maximum. Otherwise you will go in between clubs, and that obviously will complicate things. And that's why the navigator is good, especially from second tee, because it allows us to be in the wind range of not going in between clubs. Bounce on the fairway, over to the next one, over to the green, and it rolls lovely right at the hole for a beautiful hole-in-one here on hole number 7. On hole number 8, I will show you two ways of playing this hole. One, when there is a tailwind, then the more tailwind we have, the better it's going to be. So the stronger tailwind we have is maybe the more correct wording in English, then the better it's going to be. The goal here is to have the ball to bounce on the fairway above the rough and the sand. That's why I'm stretching out as I'm doing, and then into the rough to roll out. I think that is a better way of having a controlled drive like that, instead of having the goal of getting the ball down towards the green. Because we do have the bunkers on the left side, we do have the bunkers and the rough on the right side. So adjustment max plus 20, and the extra mile in the info box is there to display that here we're using the driver that gives us the most topspin and power possible. And as playing them with Apocalypse gives me the 6 bars of topspin, and also the power together gives me a nice little bounce on the fairway into the rough to roll out. And now we're going to have a wedge towards the pin. Here, this one is going to be a tricky wedge. I judge this one, if being in range, to be EB School plus a 30, based on been playing this hole a lot on tour 13 from third tee, to be able to play that wedge. Even though it's massively downhill, that has seemed to be working as the correct number. But now being out of range, it's obviously going to be a little bit more difficult. So from this range here, being outside, I would probably play around 50% elevation, max club numbers, maybe even 60%, as we are so far off when it comes to that. So it obviously, getting the ball down to where we are now is going to give us an end-bringer towards the pin, but it's not going to be an easy one to consistently drop. You need to be very accurate with your adjustment, your pull angle, and everything like that, otherwise you will see yourself miss. But the end-bringer is a beautiful club, as it's a very accurate one, and even if we are a little bit off, we could see ourselves ending up with an eagle. So this is the more aggressive way of attacking hole number 8. Let's take a look at the more conservative way of playing hole number 8. So for the more conservative option here on hole number 8, now we're going to try to get the ball to be a little bit down the left, but trying to be as centered as possible on the fairway. So instead of trying to pushing as far down possible, we're going to try to do a very controlled drive, not risking any rough or sand. Now, playing an NMT with the rock is a perfect way of doing this, especially when we are having a crosswind or a tailwind. Headwind, nah, I'm not really sure that the NMT would be the best way there, as it would be getting ourselves up into a situation where it would be requiring overpower. A little bit lucky there after over adjusting my drive a bit, but the true elevation is 20%, and judge the club distance number accurately. So if you're in max, then you play max. Here we would be better off playing mid numbers from the NMT position. Now, second shot, we're gonna play with our sniper. Sure, there is a Goliath rough bump here for those that do want to take that little higher risk, but I would not really play that rough bump if I'm having a wind coming left to right, because it would be needed then to bounce too close to the edge of the fairway, in my opinion. So therefore we do have the sniper ball guideline short of pin when we do have a little tailwind to make sure we not go too far. And then it's 20% elevation, true club distance number, and this is going to be somewhere between minimum and medium distance of our club. Those of you that do want to push the drive a little bit harder, even though we're playing it conservative, can push the drive more up to the left. That will open up to be a long iron towards the pin instead, which obviously will be a little bit easier to control, as having a shorter range of club, then it's going to be easy to control the outcome if you're doing a better adjustment. So we're getting it to drop at least for an eagle, which is when we do have playing a conservative way, then the eagle will be more rare than it would be if we're playing it aggressive. Hole number 9, and here I wanted to display a shot in headwind. You may be wondering why. It's because headwind is gonna be the toughest way of playing this hole, and here we're gonna have to use a power fireball, especially if we do have lower level clubs, because we do want to get down on the left hand side, because that's the only way for us to get a chance for the albatross. So I'm adjusting max plus 10 and going max overpower, and the driver choice should be to choose the driver that gives you the most power and topspin together, because in headwind you can use as much topspin possible and still go max overpower, and you will still be safe. Because the goal is to get past the trees on the right hand side, to have the trees not being in play when you're going to attack the pin here. Now luckily we do have wind coming left to right here, and then the side spin 1 here is not the end of the world, but it would obviously be better to have more than one backspin here, sorry, more than one right spin, to put ourselves away a little bit more from the rough line. 10% elevation, true club distance numbers, so I'm playing this one max plus 10. This is going to, however, be a very tough par 5 to drop. And I would say an alternative way of playing would be to go for the rough bump that is just above the bunker, which is a small strip of rough, I know that, but it's definitely going to be a way of attacking the pin a little bit better than having to play here on the side. Unfortunately, a great left there, and even if we would be having the speed enough, we would probably miss left hand side. A perfect would have been pretty darn close. So I'm suggesting a berserker ball in the info box there, just to give ourselves the 2 bars of right spin. I'm using the gridiron ball here on that account because I actually don't have any circs when I was playing that video. So in the end, hold them a 9 in headwind are difficult. In tailwind we play the same way, crosswind we play the same way, but then the drive is going to be easier, and then the attack towards the pin is going to be a bit easier too. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division. Here you have seen me playing all the holes in the tournament with various wins, giving you my best advice on how to crush the tournament. If you're looking for more content, you can find more free content here on YouTube, but also on our website golfclashtommy.com. But for those of you that are looking to take that little extra step, look for our premium guides. You can find that on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. You have the link in the description down below, or you scan the QR code here on the screen to go directly there. We do have packages that ranges all from $4 up to, whatever level you want to, and we do have premium guides for all the game modes. So do yourself a favor, sign up, try for yourself, and see how we can help you improve and have more fun with this game. You don't have to be a top tier player to sign up, because we do have packages for all the players that are playing this game. So check it out and see for yourself. Thank you very much once again for watching this playthrough. I wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.